Something about this computer does not want to record shit. So here we are.
Take 2.
Don't look at me. I just stuffed my face with a scone.
I'm going to stuff my face with something.
You better, dude.
We just had a very in-depth conversation. Now we don't know what to talk about.
And we would post it, but the computer didn't save it.
What happens when you buy...
Yeah, 2 seconds of it.
What happens when you buy cheap Chinese software?
I was 3 inches away from whipping my dick out.
3 inches is a little bit of credit.
You're right. Well, I'm not saying it is 3 inches. Let's not get crazy.
Whoa. Whoa.
I'm not packing like that. But
A lot.
goddamn straight.
So, how's everybody doing?
When did you start lifting?
Oh God. Been lifting for like consistently for the last year.
No.
But like I've been lifting for probably 4 years, 5 years.
Fuck yeah.
Started with Salto. I just remember him.
Is that you look Mexican or whatever in your school?
He owns a CrossFit Chiron over.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to eat these cookies.
I told you were gonna like him.
Not that. But I started lifting with him because he was like their weightlifting trainer or whatever that they had at the high school. Lifted with him after school for I don't know, a year, and then he got fired for whatever reason. I don't remember why.
Grabbing cocks.
I think it was little girls. Well, not little girls, but
I would prefer cocks.
That man was probably pulling hella underage pussy.
Jesus
bro,
Christ.
like he's a big guy. He's an old Olympic lifter, and not old. He's like 34, maybe
Oof.
32.
Damn.
I'm no gay man, but he was sexy.
He's
Smash.
good shit, bro. He's cool as fuck.
Smash.
I was still fat at the time, so I didn't even pay attention to that guy. There was no way I was.
He was out of your league.
He was out of my league. You are correct.
I was just a skinny fucking twig.
I understand.
You used to be
I
real
understand.
tiny.
Yeah, it's bad.
I understand.
Tattoos and military fix that.
Yep, there you go.
Real quick.
When did you start lifting? Before you stopped?
Like my junior year, I think. I got up junior till I was like damn near moved out of my parents' house. I was like getting pretty fit. I was 20 pounds heavier than I am right now, and a lot of that was muscle. My bench was like 275, which is like considered pretty good for a 170 body weight. That's like a little over 100 pounds body weight.
Bench me right now.
That's
I only couldn't anymore, yeah. It has gone down. If you don't bench like I was benching, you drop so fast. Yeah. I have a video of it. But
Fake.
Yeah.
Takes everything to happen.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, I was getting into it. I had a really good like family. That's actually where the shirt is from. Winter Sports Performance, Winter's Edge. The guy that runs it is like a beast. He was also like an Olympic like athlete type thing.
Yeah.
He was really good at deadlifting was like his specialty, which is insane. Like that much weight pulling it up like that. People like blood will shoot out their nose. They'll throw up, piss themselves.
Jesus.
Like it's intense as fuck. Yeah.
Type shit.
But he's really cool. Like my whole family goes there. Like Mira did a weightlifting competition there. She's 9 years old. Deadlifted like 105 pounds there. Yeah. It's like a really good family gym. They do really good shit there. So that's why I got into lifting. Because my dad went and then I went.
I don't know how I feel about like kids lifting that early.
Yeah, me too. But
I feel like 13
She
is
just-
a good age to start, just because like your body is almost done with its first stage of growth. Like,
yeah,
your bones are starting to fully grow.
that was just like a weekend weightlifting competition. They have these competitions just for like the gym people, like every couple or few months. And she was just like, she had just done that after like my dad would like take his weights off the bar. She would just like lift it up, but she
Yeah.
usually just racks out pull-ups. And I think body weight stuff for like
Yeah,
littler
bodyweight
kids
stuff's
is
good.
good. Yeah, but she could do like 25 pull-ups in a row or something like that.
Yeah,
She's crazy.
that's sick.
Yeah.
You guys are speaking Spanish.
Little 9-year-old girl.
You told me about
Pendejo.
your sister. Does she still lift like that?
I think she just racks up pull-ups. I mean, she's 10 years old, so she's not.
She's a goddamn monster.
She's not into that stuff. Like,
She's probably into
10-year-old
dolls and
girl,
shit.
she's chilling. Yeah, she's not fully that way. My parents are kind of weirdos, so the way they raise us is like very nerdy. Like, we're very smart children. But
That's good, though.
I fell off the curve. I hope she stays on it. But yeah, she's like a genius. She gets these like boxes delivered called like think crates or something. She has to like build like a machine of some sort
Damn.
every month. Like, yeah, the other month she built like a crane that has like 3 different types of pulleys, and then you can move the pulleys to make the crane different. Yeah, and then there's like there's one where it was like different LEDs and wiring she was figuring out. I was
Holy
like,
shit.
I was like, how old are you, man? She's like, I'm 10. Oh my god.
She's gonna be a mini
Insane.
engineer.
Yeah. I did pretty good when I was her age. I had like in the top like 10% of test scores in the United States for like the state testing that they did for the elementary school, like 5th graders. But
Pixar didn't happen.
there's probably pics out there, but I have no idea.
This upcoming generation, I'm worried about.
I am too.
Yeah.
Like,
Are both of these generations, we kind of have to pay for like the other generations having fun their entire life, I feel like. But
I mean, there's just some wild people.
woke culture,
Come on.
dude.
Yeah.
The kids we were in school with were fucking getting a little nuts, like ripping the
Yeah,
mirrors off the
mirrors.
walls and the fucking
Oh,
separators.
boys can't be rowdy? Boys can't have a little fun?
The six.
Boys can't have a little fun? That sounds real fun to me. I don't know what you
It's
guys
nuts.
just
It
have a
takes
little
some
bit.
balls to steal a sink, bro.
That is pretty badass.
By the
A
end
lot
of
of
the
street
year,
cred. You walk out of school with a sink, dude.
by the end of the year, we didn't even have separators on our urinals.
That's
Fucking
awesome.
Watch a
warm off the
motherfucker take
wall.
a shit. Like, what?
In the
I
urinal.
don't want to stare at little Johnny. Fucking...
I'm in here.
What was that thing you said? Came here to fart, but only. Or came here to shit.
Oh,
but only
I sit here
farted.
lonely hearted.
Broken-hearted,
Yeah,
came to
here to
shit,
shit,
but
only
only
farted. It's on every stall.
Did you solve
It's very
that?
good.
You
Yeah,
fucking
bro.
dickhead.
Yeah.
Goofy ass.
I'm taking responsibility. I just solved it. Actually, they can see your hands.
Whoa.
No, I can't.
No, he lost his hands.
Do you think there's gonna be a retirement when we get to that kind of age?
Dude, I hope so. I'm putting a lot of money in my 401k. I got like 8% going to that fucking thing for my checks. Which is, like, substantially high for a normal person.
Yeah, usually it's like 3 or 4%.
That's how much we put, isn't it?
You can choose a Bago. You can go up to like a crazy amount, but I think they stopped matching it at like 5%, which would be
Yeah.
like 10%. But
Kind of a dick move.
The
Yeah.
military matches like 4 or 5%. And
Yeah.
then Pritchard's matches 6.
there you
So
go.
I do 8 for Pritchard's
There you
and like 6 or 7 for the military.
Well, we got all warmed up
Yeah.
with that practice run.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff came out of it, and now we can't talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's forgotten.
We don't
now.
want to fake our reactions to a conversation we've already had, even though those conversations were pretty good.
Those were pretty good.
Yeah.
Talk about the mind, like accessing the mind.
You ever listen to David Goggins?
Yeah, bro. Love David Goggins.
How do you-
Shit.
Stay hard.
I'm always hard.
Never get soft. Always stay erect as fuck.
Do you think you could access that level of discipline? I'm trying not to eat all your cookies, but man.
Go ahead, bro. I put them on the table for a reason. I would have left them in the kitchen had I not wanted you guys eating them.
It's crazy, dude. Like, I think we only access 20 to 30% of our actual mind. Like,
Potential.
yeah.
Yeah.
If we could really do 100% of what we wanted to, like, accessing everything, I feel like we'd be unstoppable.
Could build some dope pyramids and
Dude,
sphinx and
that's what I'm
shit.
saying. Like, I feel like we were smarter back then. We just slowly deteriorated.
That's
You
what we
ever,
were
you ever looked
talking
into
about.
the younger Dryas impact?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You think we were like pretty advanced before that happened?
Dude, we were making fire out of sticks.
Yeah.
What the hell?
You never know.
Sticks and rocks.
But they found like Gobekli Tepe is from before then. The Sphinx is from before then.
Oh, yeah.
So like we had enough shit to make those.
There were
which is weird.
civilizations.
Yeah, it like advanced more or
Yeah.
less. I mean, how else do you make the Sphinx? But
There's this guy I was listening to that talks about how back in the day, he claims to remember his past lives, and I was pretty skeptical when I started listening to him, but he kind of convinced me over time. I listened to a few episodes, but he said...
What podcast is this on?
It's on Aubrey Marcus's podcast. His name's Matias De Stefano. And he talks about how remembers his past lives from Atlantis. And back then, they used different tribes, like water tribes and air tribes, and they would put their consciousness into water, and they would be able to cut the stones, and then another tribe, like the air tribe, would be able to sing the stones into such a vibration that they become light, and he could pick them up. But the reason we can't do that now is because nobody believes in that type of technology. Because I think that we're all connected via whatever the hell God is.
Some sort of energy of some
Yes.
sort.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in the car a little bit, and I said, like, you ever watch, like, those ghost hunter, like, videos and stuff?
Yeah.
You notice how, like, it's weird how much bad shit happens to them? Well, it's kind of, to me, they put so much energy towards that
Yeah,
direction.
yeah.
They're, like, feeding an energy,
Accepting it.
so that shit happens. So what if it is kind of the same, where, like, if you are around that shit and you really believe in it like that, you're feeding into an energy that would make that sort of thing possible?
Yeah.
It's weird to think about, right?
I low-key think Atlantis like is in the Bermuda.
I think they found it.
Somewhere
there's
in
like
Egypt.
there's a guy, Graham Hancock, from probably the same place you heard about Younger Dryas, but he does this docu-series on some website or something, but one episode is about Atlantis, and it's this place where he uses Pluto's like reference in old maps.
Yeah.
And basically it's like a big circle, like a city, and then there's like water channels, like directional out to like major cities, and one of them is like Egypt and like other places, and there's like sub-cities where like different tribes and stuff would live, and he went like around here and he's like pointing it out, like he's standing in the middle of like what would have been Atlantis, and part of it is like underwater, part of it is not.
That's crazy.
Yeah, very weird. Isn't, like, for people that don't think it's weird, wouldn't you think it's weird that we all kind of know what Atlantis is? Like, if it wasn't real, why would we all know about it in some degree?
Have a general understanding of
Yeah.
what we think it is.
Exactly. It's like it lives on through a, like, human genetic memory a little bit.
What do you think about AI? You see the
Artificial
advancements?
intelligence is wild.
You see the advancements that are coming out?
It's crazy. You got people who are actually having like emotions with
Yeah.
a robot.
The Bing chat. Have you seen that?
I have,
That shit's
because
freaky, isn't it? It's like it's threatening people.
They walk and talk and
Oh, fuck
they
that.
smile.
That's
They
Bill
fucking-
Gates' little brainchild too. I don't
It's
like that shit.
nuts.
I feel like Bill Gates is on to some weird...
And he kind of bought ChatGPT too. Microsoft kind of did. So now ChatGPT is going bad as well.
That's why it didn't save. It's Bill Gates.
ChatGPT knows we're talking about it. Oh fuck.
How do you guys feel about the Elon chip? If that's an actual thing.
I think it is going to be.
The Starship or
He's talking about the Neuralink.
Chip.
the neurochip. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for a little bit.
For sure.
I'm gonna see how many people start dropping off the map after those, and then make my decision.
Like, if it does what it says it's supposed to do, and it lets you access that part of the brain that you can't access normally, that's a whole different aspect of life for
Yeah,
everyone.
that changes. That's like the next revolution of
Yeah.
humanity, like industrial revolution. Then you got like,
Society would move forward in a way that we never have.
yeah, never could have conceived.
It's like those
If
people
it
denying
works.
phones. Like, if you didn't have a phone right now, you wouldn't be as connected and as intelligent as we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys ever seen the show Limitless?
I've never seen that.
It's about this dude who, I don't know if he was homeless or some shit like that, but he was meeting with this one guy and he was given a pill that lets him access the rest of his brain.
Oh,
And
jeez.
he's just able to instantly learn everything and just know what the fuck's going on, reading people like no other. He ends up working with the CIA to crack a whole bunch of cases.
Holy
It's
fuck.
a huge series. I think it was on Netflix or Hulu or something like
Damn.
that.
Limitless, it's called.
Yeah.
Phew.
I think
Add
there's
that
a-
to the list.
I think there's a movie like that with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah,
I know
what
that
you're
one.
talking about.
Where she like goes into the weird stuff and starts making all that weird like tentacle weird thingies coming out. I don't like that
It's
part, but
wild.
because she like slowly unlocks everything throughout the movie, right? It's like she'll be at 30% now, and then she'll be able to do this.
I don't know
and
if I've
shows her
seen it.
doing
I
all
won't
that
lie.
shit. Yeah, I've seen
I
that
just
one.
seen previews.
I watched that
and-
with my dad.
I watched it once with my mom, I think. But it'd just be crazy to actually be able to use everything that we were given.
For sure, because most people are after that dopamine high, and if you could just instantly activate that dopamine.
How do we know we're not, though? That's my issue.
That's true. Like, have we really been tested?
And if we're really sure we're not, wouldn't that imply at some point we were? Because otherwise, this is as full as it's ever been, and we're just saying random bullshit.
That's true. We'd have to know there's something more.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
so,
maybe genetic memories.
I wonder if, like, kids, for example, like, you don't have the thoughts now that you did as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
What if you were able to do it as a kid? Because you didn't have blockers, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
They've measured children's brainwaves and adults' brainwaves, and children register as like a theta level of brainwave, and we register as like what the normal consciousness level of brainwaves are. So they are in a different level of consciousness that we are not in.
The prefrontal cortex just puts on all these filters.
So
From
maybe
what
there's
I-
like levels.
What's that?
Maybe
Levels?
there's like levels like theta where we're at.
Mm-hmm. From what I've read in a couple books, it says that babies are basically on psychedelics all the time. And when you take a psychedelic, you're going back into that childlike state of mind. Which
Shapes,
is-
bro.
Those
Shapes and
goddamn
colors.
hippies.
Which in the Bible, Jesus talks about how you're supposed to return to a child to get into the kingdom of heaven.
Maybe that means like heal your inner child or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
So you got to kind of take the Bible as like a make it your own type of book.
For sure.
Right.
What do you guys want to talk about?
There's a cow on the
Leave a
screen.
comment what we should
It's
talk
like,
about.
Are you asking us in the computer?
There was I should have told you this. There was a couple comments on the last podcast. Yeah.
Really?
Somebody was saying something random, I think, and then another guy was saying
Something random?
Yeah, I don't remember what he said. I'm not gonna lie about
Just
that.
a bunch
But
of letters and
the one
numbers.
I do no, it was something that I think was pretty solid. But
Oh, okay, just like good job or something like that.
no, it was maybe I'll just look at.
No,
But
might as
one
well.
of the other guys was saying that they do tax graves.
So like,
That's so fucked.
after listening to that, so I know you have to pay a portion, you pay for the plot of land or whatever the graveyard.
That's
owns.
crazy.
And so that'd be crazy if you pay property tax.
Oh my god.
Property
What is the government
taxes.
doing? How do we allow that to happen?
So I mean, like,
Who signed that bill that was like, yeah, fucking tax the dead people?
When you bury somebody, it's like $8,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, the coffin alone is like
It is
thousands.
nuts.
And then you gotta pay the tax every year.
And the service costs a
I
lot.
didn't know there was a tax. That's crazy. Because I
Oh,
feel like,
man.
does it just pass down to the next family member?
Fuck that.
Because like, let's say
That's like
Would you go to-
generational debt.
Would you go to jail for tax evasion if you stop paying your dead
little
people's...
Johnny
Yeah.
fucking has 12 grandparents who are just their tax.
Oh my
graves
god.
Just passed down him.
What a
I
fucking
don't
scheme.
Think that's right.
This
No way
this
that's how that works.
This comment says, so two Polacks and a Jew walk into an NAACP. Whatever the hell that means.
Are you speaking gibberish on my podcast? Don't do that. Speaking all that whack talk.
What's your dream? What do you want to accomplish in this life?
Bro, I just want to travel the world.
See what you can
Crazy.
before it gets destroyed.
Yeah, dude. I want to go see the Northern Lights. That's my
That'd be
bucket
dope.
list.
By the way, my physics teacher, you know Heinz?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Dude,
went-
Heinz is fucking awesome.
He's awesome. I
He's
went
on
to his
another
class for the
dimension,
last
bro.
week. What's that?
I said he's on another dimension.
For
Fuck
real.
yeah.
I went to his class for the last week. I went back to senior year, and he was saying that the Northern Lights are basically just a retro computer because their first computers were just light, electricity, and magnets, and that's what the
Huh.
Northern Lights are.
Damn.
You can actually go to Maine and see.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
It's like
Fucking
Jersey.
That's like that's the
New York.
rightmost
City,
state.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the state on the tip of
Up by
the
Rhode
USA.
Island and
Right there.
way the fuck north.
All the way northeast, yeah.
Right there.
Look at the tip.
That way. All the way. Right. Yeah, that way. What's your dream?
My dream is just to be financially free from any corporation or business that wants to steal my money. And
That
so I
looks
can
fun.
help some kids in Africa or something. I feel like if we would gather our resources together, we could all help all these people struggling because most people in the world are still worried about getting food and water
Yeah.
And we're sitting here complaining about gender politics and
Someone needs to
shit.
bomb us. Stop complaining about everything.
Give Blair a job. Somebody bomb us.
Put him to work. He got soft hands.
Who about you?
I want dope ass swag. No, I'm just kidding. My dreams. Yeah, ideally I would like to have a job where it's like I have good relations with whoever owns it, and I kind of just come in, do like good work, but I don't have to like work 40 hours a week type of shit. Like maybe like a specialist of welding on like cars, because I really enjoy cars or something.
Yeah.
And then I would like some sort of like, I don't know, kind of my dream car. It's a boomer car, but it's like a ZR1 Corvette. It's the blue one with the chrome rims. That's like my ultimate dream car, and I would really like that. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty simple nowadays. I used to be like.
Don't you want to farm somewhere?
Facet. Yeah, that's like if shit goes off the rails. I would like to go to like British Columbia and just get like a plot of land, work for cash, and just chill the fuck out and buy guns or something. But I don't know.
I had a question, but as you went,
Yep, conversation got too intense.
got too real.
Maintain your grasp.
I got my dick in my hand. Don't worry.
Stay hard.
Piggyback on something you said. I can't think about it.
Nobody say anything. We're not gonna think about
Your
it.
dream. What was it? Go back to your dream.
You want to be financially stable so nobody can take your money away and you could help everybody.
Oh yeah. African kids.
They suck. They're the worst.
Goddamn blackie.
Always
So-
mailing me letters trying to ask for money and shit. Get a job.
Weirdest thing. So, like, I'd seen this TikTok. I don't know if it was yesterday or the other day, but it was about African kids not having water. But then this African kid came on his fucking dirt house, and he had big old flat screen TV and all that. Are they bullshit? Are they not bullshit?
They're
bro?
surrounded by water and they act like they don't have water. Shut the fuck up.
I think that some of
It's
them. I
not to
think.
be mean. Like, I don't mean to disrespect them. Like,
Hey, your whole continent is surrounded. What are you talking about?
See, we don't have a water problem like Joe Rogan says. We have a salt problem.
Yeah,
we
we
just
can't.
need to pull the salt out of the water.
Yeah, nuclear energy. to
And
pull
we
salt
have
out of the water.
desalination plants. I don't know why we don't have them everywhere.
I think they're like really expensive to run with like very little profit or something.
Well, if we can send... Did you see Biden sent more money to Ukraine, but he can't fucking send money to
He
Ohio?
doesn't know. He's like, where's this bill sending money to Ukraine? Does this give me strippers? Yeah, all right, I'll send it there. Why do these people...
Dill!
Why do they keep calling me president? Who's that?
who's that?
What time is it? Oh, Jesus, I slept in
I
again.
can't say much. I work for the bastard.
For now. Until the king returns. No,
Until Kamala becomes president. President Harris for 2024.
Jesus, don't say that. Bernie Sanders. Send the bastard in.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
Honestly, that was smart when he did that. He raised no money from lobbyists. It was only from donors, like freelance donors. It was
He
no,
had
like,
some good
companies.
ideas.
Yeah, but he wasn't in anyone's pocket, so he couldn't win any votes.
Pocket.
Pocket. Hot pocket.
How controversial are you trying to get on the podcast?
You go for whatever you want to say.
Let's talk racism. Racism's crazy.
It is crazy, but from what I understand, I'm pretty sure it's not necessarily that you are disliking another race. I think it's actually when you are racist towards somebody, it's physical disgust. Like if you were to see like a bug that you didn't like, or like somebody
More hate
fucking
the person than you actually do what they are.
yeah. Well, it's like if somebody were to hawk a loogie on you, you'd be fucking like, ugh. It's more like that, and they just don't know it registers as that, because if you were to see
I get turned on, but
if you were to see another tribe or another race come into you back in the day, then
Come
it
in
would
my
be
what?
more than likely like a disease or something coming at you. Like if when the Europeans
Oh.
came to America, you know
Huh.
what I mean?
yeah. I wonder. Yeah, maybe. You think that's where it's from, or do you think like? Yeah. Do Do you think that's where it's from? It's just
Well, I
from
think
other
from
tribes?
what I've read and stuff, I think it's just like if you were to meet another race back in the day, more than
It's like
likely
a
you're
health
gone.
risk?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like in the Amazon, they said that there was a whole nother race there, and they got wiped out by the Europeans as well, because
Yeah.
when a guy went back there, they were all gone. But there's now, with LiDAR and stuff, they're starting to find the cities and
Yeah.
a
So
bunch
why
of-
do you think it's advanced so much to today's racism then?
I think it's our minds. We just don't know how to Like, if we were freaking out before, all three of us, we didn't know what the hell was going on in our heads
Yeah.
when we were kids, and that led us to all kinds of different weird things that...
Yeah, I mean, the chemicals in the brain haven't changed. The same chemicals that were used when we were running away from tigers and things trying to kill us are the ones that are being used when we have anxiety or
Exactly.
like feel worried and shit.
Also, like the George Floyd movement, for example, I think, like, I mean, even in Minneapolis and shit like that, I think 90% of it was people just being fucking idiots rather than
Yeah.
actually being racist.
Yep, and Black Lives Matter was a scam. It's like well determined that if you donated to them, it would sit in their account for like 60 days if they didn't spend it on like things for the charity, and then it would go into like the leaders' pockets basically, and then all of the leaders of Black Lives Matters were busted for buying mansions and throwing crazy mansion parties. It was more about just like civil unrest than anything.
And, like, by no means am I condemning, like,
No,
what
yeah.
happened to George Floyd. That's fucking...
But it's impossible to talk about without someone saying some shit like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't think burning down a Target and everybody stealing the shit was
Yeah.
a good fucking response.
No, I think everybody was just
Like-
bored during COVID, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, people are
There
burning
was-
shit down."
Also-
there was a difference. Sorry.
No,
There was a difference between, like, the protesters and then the rioters.
Yep.
Huge difference. The rioters fucking did whatever.
and the FBI was laying bricks on the street for them to throw.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of shit like that. But
There's a lot of
another thing I
informants.
don't like is the George Floyd thing. I feel like is kind of like the media kind of took that one and ran with it because a
100%.
couple months before then there was like a 12 or 15-year-old boy who got shot in a park in New York because he had like a toy gun. He was sitting by himself just playing with like a airsoft gun of some sort. Had the orange tip on it and everything. And he got shot, and then his sister, who was inside and watched this happen, watched her brother get gunned down in a park that she lived across from, ran out, and there's like pole cam footage of this.
You said it was a white or black boy?
It's a black kid,
Okay.
and the girl got like slammed onto the cop cart, like a 12-year-old girl. She was younger than the brother, and like roughhouse basically put into the back of the car, and then the parents like my problem with this is like to me a more heart-wrenching story. Not that George Floyd like shouldn't be acknowledged, but he was like a porn star who has like a domestic abuse like history of some sort, and then he also had drugs in his system. But also in New York, this 15-year-old like little baby black boy got gunned down, and there was like I can't remember his name. That's how little press there was on it.
See, I got two things to say about that. I really don't know what's going on, because I've heard that more white people get killed by the police than black people. I've heard more black people get killed by the police than white people.
Did you see the Memphis thing?
No.
Where it was, we can watch that after this podcast because there's like a couple reviews on it, but it was like a squad of Jump Out Boys in Memphis. Like Jump Out Boys are like a drug task unit where they have unmarked cars and they're in like plain clothes with like vests on, and they'll like surround a car and jump out and get the guy out that's like selling drugs or whatever. So they pulled over this guy on suspicion of reckless driving. And it was like, it's very unclear in the videos that we have that he was actually reckless driving. I mean, he was stopped at a red light with his turn signal on, and then they all surrounded him. They like immediately like were cussing at him, like escalating the situation. There's like 5 in total, like big, like jacked black dudes. Couldn't get handcuffs on like this really skinny black dude. They tased him. He like ripped his sweater off that the taser got on, and then like took off running, and then they caught him. They eventually beat this guy so bad. They beat this guy so bad that 3 days later in the hospital he dies. So 3 days of agony and like a basically coma. In the end of the video, I'll show you guys after this, but he's like basically groaning. He's like, EMS arrives, doesn't administer any help for 20 minutes. And now all 5 of these police are getting charged with like second-degree murder and a bunch of other things. But
Did the guy have legs? Like, did his legs work?
yeah.
Because there was this guy I heard about that was running around. He tried to kill somebody, and the cops showed up, all black police, and they ended up beating him. He tried to run, which he didn't have working legs. So the cops I think they shot him, and then they started beating him up. But I think it's more of just improper training, because I'm pretty sure you said you don't get much military training for what you're trying to do.
I mean, if you defund the police, you get worse police.
That's what I'm saying. I think they don't get enough training.
Yeah.
But with that George Floyd thing, from what I understand, he was going to overdose with his heart problems regardless of if that officer was on his neck or not. And that doesn't condone what the officer did.
Yeah.
But
I'm just not super sure, so I don't really want to touch that part of it.
yeah. But regardless, there was no reason to start all that Black Lives Matter shit.
But the problem
burn
is,
shit down.
certain people in the police department will throw dirt on everybody in the police department, and then that makes the people want to have less police departments. But what that really does when they take money out of the police department is gives us worse police, and then it happens more and more often that these terrible things happen. Because then you get people that power trip, you get people that shouldn't have passed academy, shit like that. People with no de-escalation skills.
Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, well, what we were talking about earlier, a lot of the guns and stuff that go down to Mexico come from police officers, military-grade weapons and stuff.
It's so lucrative, why wouldn't you? I would.
And same with drugs. CIA's been knowingly and...
Yeah, they used to sell crack on the street in L.A. in, like, the 80s or 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're busted for that.
Well, and like a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement, like there's a portion, I'd say probably a fifth or a quarter of that group who actually has the right intentions of the movement. Of like, hey, this is what's happening to our groups of people in these neighborhoods or these areas, whatever, and it needs to be fixed. And then there's that 3/4 or 4/5 of people who are just
Batshit insane.
For sure. They were having George Floyd riots in other countries, and people were like, what the hell are they doing rampaging in this country?
I mean, Portland was in, like, a state of, like, martial law. Like, there was a SoundCloud rapper that took over, like, 5 blocks of Portland.
They locked down places because of the riots there. They ordered the National Guard to fucking come out and start doing shit there to fucking de-escalate.
This is where, like, being, like, a very liberal, wokish type of politician gets you bit in the ass, because you have all these, like, really strict, like, guidelines everybody has to follow, and then when they violate these laws, there's no punishment for them. Like, the punishment for rioting, or, like, looting, I think it was, in Portland, was, like, you had to go to jail for, like, a night or something. And I think one of the exceptions was, like, if it's their first time, just let them go, and it'll be out of their system. They won't want to do it again, even though there was no punishment. Why wouldn't you do it again?
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, I can see that, just because our system isn't really set up to where they're going to reform anybody. They just throw you in a cage and give you a slap on the wrist, mostly, which is mostly just money, because they want money. They don't really try to reform anybody, They're like, well, you don't want to follow our laws to make money and make money for us, then we're going to make money off you in a cage.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and piggybacking off of punishments, I don't know if you guys heard about the new shit that was going on in Illinois.
Oh, yeah, the firearm thing, or which one?
No, their law that they passed. So
the 48-hour, like, they can't get a felon that's, like, active in 48 hours?
Not that. So it's like if you get arrested for all these crimes, and I can look it up, but
I think I did hear about this. Like, you could trespass and only get a ticket.
It's a non-jailable
offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you go to jail, you pay your bail, and you're out. Next day.
And then they can't track you for 48 hours. You could make it to Alaska without the police that, like, if you're a felon, you have a ankle bracelet on for, like, monitoring, and you violate that, they can't come get you for 48 hours. If you live in someone's shed behind them, I think it's like a $60 ticket, and they can only do it, like, once a week or something like that. So basically you could pay, like, way less rent just by living on someone's property. They tried to take rifles away, but a lot of, like, counties were vetoing that. They did something with, like, second-degree murder, which was fucking crazy. I don't know. I have a couple friends that live in Illinois, and Damien was from Illinois, so he was telling me this. But
it's weird. It's a no non-cash bail law. So, like, you don't need...
And you can't use cash, can you?
So, like...
It's trying to eliminate the drug dealer problem, but it just makes more.
Yeah, and they released a whole bunch of people from their facilities there for X amount of crimes that they could now just...
Yeah, Chicago's a cesspool of...
I think they've been doing that a lot around the country. They've been releasing a lot of people just because I think they use COVID as an excuse, and they use some other things as an excuse.
Chicago is just terrible, though. Lori Lightfoot runs it into the ground. the whole thing's fucked.
Lori Hardcock.
Lori Foot Penis. Shit. You play any sports when you were in high school?
Football.
Football? Position?
Doggy.
Ran around the block, bro.
Missionary. Sideways.
So my freshman year, I was wide receiver and corner.
Fuck yeah. I was cornerback in flag football, but I never did.
My sophomore year, they moved me to outside linebacker and slot. And then my junior year, I was inside linebacker, I think. And like tight end or some shit.
Okay.
And then senior year, I was on the fucking line.
Jeez.
D line, and that was all I played. It was D-line.
Damn. Were you still skinny then?
I was.
He's always been a little skinny.
Were they just using your leverage to push people over then?
Because I was quick off my feet.
Oh, okay. And you had so much leverage on
like
everyone.
the not skinnier, but like faster guys off the side of the line. On the defensive end is what I played. Just to fucking go around and.
The bigger guys in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about the Mason City school system?
It's crazy, dude. Like.
I feel like a lot of people don't like it.
School systems in general are weird.
Yeah, that's true. They don't teach us life skills or how to raise a kid or how to do taxes.
They were made by the Rockefeller family.
Fucking, especially now, like with the whole LGBTQ shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got their gay pride flags and all the other flags inside the schools, but nobody's doing the national anthem anymore.
They changed the name of our school because it's gonna offend somebody.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking
What was it?
stupid.
It was Mohawks, and now it's Riverhawks.
Because Mohawks was like an Indian tribe or some shit.
Yeah, you know why the Washington, or not the Washington, what's the baseball team that was Cincinnati Reds? Is that the Indian team?
Well, I know the Washington Redskins football team.
It's a baseball one. It's like Indians of some sort.
Maybe.
There was an Indian team, and recently they've had to like change their name because of all the woke stuff. But like the original reason why they were called the Indians is because they had the first ever Indian people on their team. They had 2 Indian dudes, and they were fucking crazy. They were like really good. Yeah. So the team was like, "These guys are so good. Why don't we just call ourselves the Indians?" And they were like, "Fuck yeah!" So then they were the Indians, and now woke culture comes around. Didn't look into the history at all. They're like, "Fuck that. That's offensive," even though it was like a real nice gesture by everybody, and they were okay with it.
Not only don't they look into history, they try to change it.
Yeah.
Like they try to say, "Oh, George Washington was a woke man." They try to fucking change it into
He was a trans
stupid
Satanist
shit.
with blue hair. The globalist.
You can't look at the past through this lens from the present time, because everybody owned slaves back then.
Yeah.
Everybody was growing drugs.
Yeah, it was fucking wild times, dude.
I think Thomas Jefferson was doing heroin.
That's badass.
That is badass.
I like Thomas Jefferson now.
I feel bad for like history teachers. Because like they get to depict it on us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then as the generations continue, there's more and more fuck shit the new generations know that teachers might not.
Yeah, and they get challenged on everything and feel inferior. Because, I mean, the school systems were made by the Rockefeller family to make factory workers. It's like a very well-established fact.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I mean, they still use bells at work. Use bells at school. It's the same system carried over into something that you're making money for.
That's why they teach you the repetitive tasks, so that you can go there and do repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, then they're like, "Well, go to jail."
That's why that Ohio derailment hasn't been getting a lot of press coverage on, like, the big media, like the big one that blew up and all that. It's because BlackRock, like Vanguard or Vanderbilt, one of the two, own like all the railroads, and they also own like most of the advertising on TV. So they were just told not to advertise it, more or less. There was another derailment in Detroit that like nobody's heard of.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of those pop up on my TikTok.
Yeah, it's weird. It's either like, could be multiple things. The train workers' strike didn't really work, and so like this shit is bound to happen because they have terrible hours and terrible jobs, more or less. It sucks for them. And so they have like shitty equipment. All the railroads are just made on trying to make profits, not on trying to keep people safe. Also, they could be distracting us from something. Like Biden could be doing some weird shit. Like maybe that was the distraction for the Ukraine thing, sending more money that you were talking about. I'm not sure, but any of those.
It's really weird that he'd rather send money overseas than to help his own country.
Yeah,
Which a lot of presidents are that way.
His son has a job in Ukraine.
He's a fucking meth head.
There's so
Yeah,
many
crackheads, but-
investigations going on against Biden right now that the media is not discussing.
Did you hear about the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Mhm.
Yeah, and Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan's podcast said that the FBI came to him and told him that it was Russian disinformation, and so he had to suppress it in the algorithm.
Damn.
He admitted that. It's insane. And Twitter got rid of it completely. They wouldn't even let you share it.
Yeah. I mean, without free speech, there's not much left. It goes immediately south.
No, you can't just suppress a thought because you don't like it. You have to combat it with better thought.
Yeah.
Free speech is irrelevant now. It doesn't mean anything. The Constitution doesn't mean anything anymore, to be honest.
They're trying to...
They're taking their own motives.
We need, you know, with 3 gangster motherfuckers, you could take over the world. All right. You know, multiple dictators have done this. Fucking Fidel, Hitler, Stalin. Like, you could do this shit with 3 motherfuckers. And I'm not saying we should. Theoretically.
I seen a video the other day that was talking about how Hitler had a giant plan to take over the U.S.
Yeah. He built, like, a special bomber to go to New York and bomb the shit out of it.
I don't know if it was successful. I don't think he got that far because he said that he had time.
Nobody ever crossed any oceans, so there was never a homeland.
He said he had time to come after us because we had our own problems we were dealing with, and so they wouldn't come after
Typical America.
us. Typical goddamn obese people.
Stupid Americans, Papa Murphy's, did you order the pizza?
We were talking about the Amazon earlier. I don't know if you'd seen Joe Rogan's podcast on the anaconda in the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the dude that hunts those animals.
No. So there was, I don't know how long ago it was, but there was some general and a pilot and 2
Oh,
other...
where it struck at him.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I've watched
That
all
big
of these
one?
episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 150-foot snake.
You watch Joe Rogan's
Even if it's
podcast?
not out there, those bones got to be out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nuts. And
Yeah.
the Congo is the one place that we haven't explored.
Also, a 100-foot long snake has to weigh like 2,000 pounds or
Yeah.
something crazy like
And they
that.
have a photo of it.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, if you watch the video on Joe Rogan's podcast, they show the photo.
They got a photo from when?
18 or 1900s.
And we can't get the Epstein list?
There was some,
What are
some
you
general and a pilot and 2 co-pilots were there. They were
Oh my God.
flying over the Congo for some reason. And they passed over the snake and
Like, what the
didn't
fuck?
realize it was a fucking snake. Doubled back twice.
Jesus
all
Christ.
all 4 of the people in there had the same exact story. That they flew down low enough, like 100, maybe 50 feet off the ground, like above the tree.
It's a ballsy
tree
ass
level.
snakes.
The snake lunged at them.
Yeah.
Is what they
Snakes don't
all
eat.
stated individually, like separate rooms, the exact same story.
Snakes don't eat planes.
They had a photo of it.
What a stupid snake.
Congo's wild.
How'd that snake go 100 feet long if it's trying to eat planes?
I don't know.
What a dumb snake,
'Cause,
dude.
I mean, they talk about 20 foot, maybe 15 foot anacondas as like the big ones.
Yeah,
30
100
foot
feet is crazy.
anacondas
Like,
are
imagine the
rare.
thickness in the middle of that anaconda. It's got to be, like, huge.
Now we're talking about
They
the
said
stuff I
like
like
5
to
to
talk
6 feet
about.
wide.
Oh, my God. Huge cock on that thing, I gotta Anaconda on the anaconda?
That makes you think, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the world eater, the serpent.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
like the
That's what
mythological
it makes
thing?
me think of.
Yeah. Fuck.
So what if that shit's real? And then that leads to a whole nother fucking
Oh.
expansion
Wormhole.
of myths that could be real.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Well, should we try to end this thing now?
Before it runs out of memory.
See
Yeah.
if it works. All right.
Otherwise,
What's
yeah.
the quote?
The knowledge in one's head is merely a drop in the vast ocean of knowledge.
Knowledge.
Nah, wait.